What is going on, everyone? What did I tell you? The Houston Texans were going to march into Indianapolis and walk out with the horse's head. And that's exactly what happened. They win 29-27. And once again, the game came down to the very end. But ladies and gentlemen, drop your comments down below. How did this Houston Texans perform? Overall, I'll give them a B. There was a lot of good. There was a lot of bad, but it is week one and you won on the road. And I'm not going to lie, guys, entering this matchup, there was a lot of chatter between the Indianapolis Colts fan base, the Houston Texans fan base. This was a must win, in my opinion, and the Houston Texans did exactly that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 713 Houston Sportcast, and I drop daily Houston Texans content. So make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as we continue on through the season. If you were in the live stream, thank you so much. It was a blast. This episode was brought to you and powered by BetUS. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I told you the script. I said CJ Stroud was going to have over 2 passing touchdowns, and he had that today. 2 of them going to newly acquired wide receiver Stephon Diggs. Ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of BetUS's 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. If you told this and listened to me like you should have, let me know in the comments down below. Shout out to BetUS. Let's start with the Houston Texans offense. They put up 29 points, and the star of the day was running back Joe Mixon. His first game with the Houston Texans, ran the ball 30 times. 159 yards on the ground, 5.3 yards a carry, 1 touchdown, and he also gave you 3 receptions for 19 yards, 6.3 yards a catch. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Mixon put the offense on his back today. When was the last time you heard me say the Houston Texans won this game because of the rushing attack? It has been years. But man, Joe Mixon was special today. It seems like he wasn't getting touched until 4 yards into the defense. Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed, I did not see them at all today. Joe Mixon had his way with the Indianapolis Colts front 7. Shout out to the offensive line for the run game performance, because when you look at their pass protection performance today, it was bad. In the first half, it was horrible. 3 sacks. The Houston Texans had to adjust and bring in their tight ends as blockers to give this offensive line some help. We talked about this coming in, some concern with this O-line playing their first game together in 2 years. So in terms of pass protection, there was a lot to be desired. But in terms of run blocking, man, they had themselves a day. And I just cannot believe I said that the Houston Texans, one of the main reasons why they won today was because of the ground game. CJ Stroud, it's not like he was horrible. 24 of 32, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception, a quarterback rating of 115.9 when CJ Stroud needed to make a play. And I'm looking at that 3rd and 11. The Houston Texans franchise quarterback made a incredible throw to number 12 Nico Collins towards the right sideline. I mean, it was just a laser precision pass. Nico Collins gets his foot, gets his knee inbounds. First down, Houston Texans. They continue on. They end up winning the game just a couple of minutes later. But Nico Collins, guys, he really is the modern day Andre Johnson, like CJ Stroud said. 6 receptions, 117 yards, 19.5 yards a catch. He had the big go up and get it between 2 Colts defenders. Nico Collins had himself a day. And this is a wide receiver who it takes multiple guys to take him down. You could say the same thing about Stephon Diggs. His first game with the Houston Texans, also 6 receptions, 33 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, what Stephon Diggs, 3 of his 6 receptions were important. Obviously, the 2 were for touchdowns, but I think it was either the first or second reception. He took it for a first down. It was on 3rd and long. Stephon Diggs, what a first game with this Houston Texans team. You saw him hyping them up on the sideline. That's why he was brought here. Tank Dell, 3 receptions, 40 yards. Also had a couple of carries on the ground. 2 carries for 19 yards. The longest was 17 on that big reverse. Look, Tank Dell, maybe not the day he wanted. However, I think next week we might see that flip. I think we might see Tank Dell with 2 touchdowns, Stephon Diggs with 100 yards, and Nico Collins with 40. That's how I see this wide receiving trio, playing out throughout the season. I think you're not just going to have one number one guy. I think you're going to have multiple number one guys. Dalton Schultz, 3 receptions, 16 yards, had a couple of really nice snags in the first half. But, just the bread and butter was your top 3 wide receivers and your newly addition running back. But to end it for the Houston Texans offense, CJ Stroud, let's get just another moment where the ball is put in his hands and he delivers. Also, honorable mention, Dameon Pierce. You had a nice couple of runs for this Houston Texans offense. Overall, they put up 29 points. I think the offensive line pass protection needs to get better. One of the reasons why I think the passing attack really did not get going, you saw quarterback CJ Stroud frustrated a little bit. But overall, I give them a B performance. I give the overall team a B performance. Now let's go ahead and talk about this Houston Texans defense. Now, talking about the Houston Texans defense, I was told all offseason that in week 1, Jonathan Taylor was going to run all over Houston. You saw our buddy on the AFC South Roundtable, Derek, say Jonathan Taylor was going to rush for 150 yards plus. Well, buddy, you're short 100. Jonathan Taylor didn't even crack 50. It felt like this was the first time ever the Houston Texans shut down Jonathan Taylor. Now, I talked about just containing him, but the Houston Texans shut down Jonathan Taylor. This was a surprise to everyone. And if it wasn't for Jimmy Ward just giving up a big play every other drive, we would have talked about this defense having a big day because they had their moments. Right, they had a key takeaway in the end zone. Safety Kalen Bullock with the great hands when the Indianapolis Colts offense had some momentum. He takes the ball away. You saw your 2 new interior defensive linemen for Lorenzo Fatukasi, Mario Edwards Jr. really benefit off of 2 edge rushers, just creating so much pressure. They both had a sack today. But what got me upset was it felt like I mentioned a couple of seconds earlier, every other drive, Jimmy Ward gave up a big play. He gave up the big touchdown early to Alec Pierce. Was not Derek Stingley's fault. He was expecting safety help from Jimmy, was not there. And then, the one where it was, I believe, 3rd and 15 for Indy, and AR5 just throws it up, and Alec Pierce snags on Jimmy Ward. Here's the thing. When you have the C on your chest, you can't let stuff like that happen. Jimmy Ward, we know even last year, gave up a lot of big plays. How Amari Cooper just torched him, and man, it looks the same. Now, here's the thing. We know Jimmy Ward is D'Amico Ryan's boy. As soon, like Harley mentioned on Bleacher Report, as soon as D'Amico Ryan's was hired, Jimmy Ward was brought in. So I wonder how long the leash is, but there was a lot of big plays given up by just Jimmy Ward. Kalen Bullock, I think he needs to get more opportunities out there as your deep safety. He showed you what he could do today with the INT. Almost had another one at Henry To'oTo'o, didn't break up the pass. And shout out to Henry To'oTo'o, a solid game, having to step up with Christian Harris out. And I think the only way this Indianapolis Colts offense moved the ball was big plays, right? You also had that other play where Anthony Richardson throws a great pass to, I believe it was number 16. Azeez Al-Shaair was in coverage, just fingertip miss. Takes it to the crib, 60-yard touchdown. It's crazy because with Anthony Richardson, fantastic on the ground. That was everything as advertised. Through the air, though, it was inconsistent. And if Anthony Richardson was a better quarterback, the Colts would have put up some more points. There was at least 3 just crazy missed deep balls. And one where A.D. Mitchell was wide open, burnt Derek Stingley. Anthony Richardson couldn't complete the pass. So we knew this was how it was going to be starting out, right? You have to limit AR and this Indianapolis Colts offense on the ground. Try to make him beat you through the air. And, hey, it almost happened. That's why I am looking at Jimmy Ward like, what the hell were you doing out there today? But, ladies and gentlemen, they do just enough to keep the Houston Texans in position to win the football game. They had moments, right, on a 2-point conversion where the Colts try to run. They stop it. I believe it was also a 4th down. They try to give it to Jonathan Taylor, or a 3rd down with Jonathan Taylor. And it gets stuffed before it was on 3rd down because Anthony Richardson took it in, kind of bulldozed Jalen Petrie into the end zone. But that's okay. Hey, Anthony Richardson is 250 pounds. Jalen Petrie had a good game. Derek Stingley had a good game. The only guy that torched you through the air was Alec Pearson. You could blame all that on Jimmy Ward. Ladies and gentlemen, this defense performance to me was a B. There was a lot left to be desired. I would have loved to see Will Anderson Jr., Daniil Hunter get sacked. However, I did see their impact. You are definitely missing Christian Harris. You're definitely missing Danico Autry, and they get here week 5. Overall, guys, it was a good game, a great game, a tough game, scary game. And it was a must-win, like Captain Jimmy Ward said. And the Houston Texans, they handle business. They walk into Indy and walk out with the dub, 29-27. They are 1-0 and the only team in the AFC South to have a victory in Week 1. With that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. For more Houston Texans content, follow me. Go Houston, 1-0. Have a very blessed day. And don't forget, guys, this episode was brought to you and powered by BetUS. I made y'all some money today. Make sure y'all took advantage of that 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000.